Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising, here is your tarot reading for the week ahead. I release these Tarotscopes weekly with a view to help you navigate some of the challenges that might be coming up, some other things to look forward to, how to best navigate your way through. I really encourage that you check out your sun, moon and rising signs, not just your sun sign. If you're not sure what your rising and moon sign is, don't worry, we've got you covered. You can just check the pinned comment below with instructions on how to do that for free. There you'll also find an invitation to sign up to weekly emails notifying you when these Tarotscopes are released so that you never miss one again. But as ever, take what's helpful, leave what isn't. We start with a relatively challenging combination here with the Devil and the Chariot. Now, before you switch the video off or tune out, it's not all bad news by any means. There is certainly a feeling with the Chariot that you may have quite a busy week ahead, something that is echoed by the fact that we've got the Eight of Pentacles, the Lord of Prudence, you with your nose close to the grindstones, so to speak. There's a bit of a feeling of you running around, and particularly Cancer, a feeling of you trying to please quite a lot of people, trying to run around after people. And that could be in a familial way, a professional way, or within friends. It's not necessarily a bad thing by any means, but there's a little bit of a reminder not necessarily to spread yourself too thin here. There's also a bit of a theme coming through with regards to you can't please everybody. And sometimes there are instances where the harder you try, the more that can be taken for granted. It's by no means a doom and gloom aspect, but rather, are you using a level of discernment, particularly if you're starting to feel a little bit taken for granted? Maybe there's a need to communicate that, maybe there's a need to express that, or alternatively, looking at what can be delegated and look at, do you need assistance? And what's really nice to see here is that you've got the Three of Cups at the end of your reading, which is the Lord of Abundance, but very often speaks to people coming together in celebration. We have, and I've been mentioning this to all the star signs because it's very, very pertinent. We have Venus moving into retrograde of around this time. And for most of us, that's going to kind of bring or highlight imbalances, particularly within our relationships, particularly with those whom we love. And for you, that's just likely to express itself of feeling a little bit underappreciated or undervalued, or perhaps said in a slightly lighter way, that you are kind of going above and beyond, and you are trying your level best, and you are trying to spin as many plates as you possibly can, and yet more and more seems to be demanded of you at the moment. This Venus in retrograde is going to express itself in very particular ways, and arguably some quite peculiar ways. And there's a sense of this is why this is coming up for you. It may not necessarily be a reflection of reality, or it could be a window of opportunity, an invitation to express some of these things and bring them back into necessary balance. The other thing that I want to say with regards to the Chariot card and the Devil card is that they're talking, you can see Adam and Eve here chained, and you've got the Chariot slightly pulling in opposite directions here too. So there's a bit of a feeling of really, in part, what I said before, of trying to balance opposing forces and being caught at times within the middle. So you may find that you're mediator this week, or that you're trying to find a happy equilibrium within extremes. So you're trying your utmost best. The Chariot represents endurance, that represents that part of having to prove oneself. And it's just this reminder, as I mentioned before, that's okay to do, but just make sure that you're not run ragged. We also have the Seven of Swords here, which relates very strongly with the Chariot, just in so much as they're both ruled by that number 7, which is the number of endurance. But the Seven of Swords as well talks about displaced efforts and very much looking one way and walking another. So don't be surprised if you're feeling quite scattered at the moment, and just at the moment that you seem to set to one task, something else is calling your attention and your needs, and particularly people are calling your attention and calling your needs. It's not necessarily you're damned if you do and damned if you don't this week, but it's just you may very well find yourself here, there, and everywhere. But as I said before, and I'm going to reiterate, if you can call upon others to help, and in particular, if you can express and explain, look, this is my position, this is what I'm feeling, because there's a sense that some of these people might not even be aware of what's going on. They're not doing it in with any sort of malice, with any sort of manipulation by any means. They just need you because you're useful and helpful and you're on top of it usually. The Chariot card is the Cancer card. It's ruled by Cancer. And what I always say is when your card arrives within your reading, it's very much about you doing what you do best. Cancer is the nurturing energy. So this is part and parcel of why these issues are arising in the first place, because you're so good at caring for people. You're so good at being organized. You're so good at staying on top of things. You're so good at organizing the home. And there's just a sense of there's just no let up here. But also a reminder with Cancer that it is the crab. It does have this armor. It does have this shell. And we can really see all of that armor adorning the charioteer. So it is a reminder of you might need a bit of a thick skin this week. Take it on the chin. This isn't necessarily a time to emotionally spill. This may be times that you have to give people just gently the cold shoulder if they're asking a little bit too much of you. Yes, okay, communication and honesty may be the first point, but don't. What I'm trying to say, I suppose, is don't give too much of yourself necessarily. But there's just such a feeling of something taps on my shoulder, I look at them, and something taps on my shoulder, I'm looking over there, and then just feeling in some ways just frantic. It's probably a little too strong, but certainly in demand, and certainly as though we're spinning lots and lots of plates. But as a whole, you've got off lightly this week. I know there are some slightly more stronger themes coming through there. Just one final thing that I want to say about the devil as well. We've obviously got Adam and Eve here with the chains. So slightly reiterating that you may feel chained to your responsibilities, but you may also feel chained to other people. Venus in retrograde is a time when our exes come out of the closets, the skeletons come out of the closets, people come out of the woodwork, probably mixing up metaphors there, but you hopefully know what I mean. So it may just feel that some of those slightly crunchy or clunky parts of our relationship are starting to rear its head. You may feel that old emotions are being stirred up. Again, probably exes or things that you've not really thought about. All those moments of dissatisfactoriness are arriving, particularly within intimate relationships, I would say. For other star signs, that's expressed itself in almost all relationships on quite a low level. For you, Cancer, I think it's one or two relationships, but quite acutely. So there's almost like a laser beam. So if you're married, that's probably going to be within your marriages. Maybe it's parents, maybe it's siblings, maybe it's children. But those that are very close to us, you may end up kind of questioning some of the validity of those relationships, but not. I don't feel that that will undermine it in any severe way. As ever, as I mentioned, communication is key, honesty is key, and being able to not necessarily wear your heart on your sleeve, but move into this Three of Cups energy where it is equally spread and equally shared. So that is my reading. Was that useful? What resonates? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, I wish you a very, very magical week, and I shall see you then. Bye for now.